Hi guys. All right. I have Enrique and Raquel. Is that right? Anyone else? No, that's it. Okay. Okay. Welcome to my mortgage class. What you're seeing on the screen right now is going to be two QR codes. One is my website, and the other one is to where buyers can apply online. So it takes them directly to my link to where they can fill out the loan application. You guys can send that to them, or of course, have them reach out to me and I can always send that to them as well. So if you want to take a moment to download those, which I am, yes, to make sure you guys got it. So I know I've asked you. I'm like, what's the link?
And this is like when before they meet with you to send this to clients or
No, if you want, so it depends. They may say to you, hey, do you have a link? I'll just apply. Sometimes they want to talk to me first.
Mhm.
So it's just for you guys to have, just in case somebody wants it and you guys just have it handy.
Okay.
Okay. All right. I am going to move on. The other key, maybe? No, the other. No. Let's try not like this. Huh? Hold on a second. Operator error. What you do? Just this one, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, right. Thank you. Okay. Raquel, I know you sat in on this class before, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So what I feel like maybe I want to do, and I know Enrique is new and hasn't sat in on this, but we could go over some of the slides, but also talk. Are there any questions that you have for me right now that you feel is coming up in the market, you're hearing from buyers, maybe even sellers, things like that. I mean, I don't mind opening this up as a mastermind and just kind of going through some talking points.
Okay.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Oh no, I just said okay.
So if you have any questions, do you want to start with any questions or do you just kind of want me to go through and then as things come up, you can ask?
Yeah, I do have it's kind of like a scenario right now that I'm in. So I have it's like a mother and son client. So basically the mom, she is like very adamant and wants her son to, be a homeowner and stop renting. Um, and I went over to the son's house to meet the mother just to, introduce myself and kind of like communicate better because she's a little older. So doing like text and phone call and stuff was getting a little challenging.
Uh,
So I showed her, we like selected some homes that I had sent her over last week and she found a home that she wanted. But it's in contract right now. But the part for me is that her son is like really sensitive on, I guess, like potentially like going through the process of being a home buyer or just like getting those approvals and speaking with someone about just like, finances and, speaking to you.
uh,
So she definitely wants to move forward. It's just that she has to get her son on board in order, for us to work further. And he has to sign like the BBRA and the duties owed and stuff like that. So um I left with her and she said, she's gonna speak with her. And I shared that like, like we have a mortgage loan officer, Jennifer, she's amazing. If it's too much to come into the office for him, like we can do a phone call and she'll go over things with him, and he just has to, tell her some information for like a pre-approval, situation.
Uh,
Um, but is there anything else that you recommend when like, clients are a little hesitant and, like she basically said that he's um scared of rejection.
okay. So let them know. So a really big thing that we do here that a lot of mortgage companies do not do is that we can do a full-blown approval for somebody based off of a soft credit pull. People get really scared of having their credit pulled, and they get really scared of the hard hit on their credit because it could, if you keep having your credit pulled, stuff like that, it could affect their credit. So let them know it's a free process. All you have to do is fill out an application. It's a soft credit pull. They can do a full approval. I mean, we can literally get them through underwriting, in contract, and everything based off of a soft pull. Once we go to closing, we do have to do a hard pull, but they're already in the process. So at that point, they won't care. But I feel that a lot of times people get scared of that part of it. So if you want, just say, like I had one of Jenny's clients yesterday that she'd been talking to another lender and she did not like them. They were pulling hard pulls. And I go, I can do a soft pull, just see what's on there. Let's talk about it. He shouldn't be afraid of rejection, but I get it. Everybody's afraid of rejection. But let's just take a look and see what's on there to get you ready. Maybe you're not ready today, but let's get you ready in the next few months. Maybe his score needs to go up. We can even run a credit simulator based off of a soft pull as well. So the credit simulators where, let's say I pull his credit and it's like a 550 and it says plus 50 points. So that means that based off of, it'll tell me exactly what to do. Like pay this credit card off to this balance, pay this card off to this balance, whatever, and we can get the score up to 50 points. But at least that gets him ready for when he feels ready to pull that trigger. Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
Yeah. No,
What
yeah,
is he afraid of? Is he afraid of his credit? Is he afraid of like his debt to income? Like, do you know what he's afraid of? How old is he?
um he's he's I believe in his late 30s, I would say.
Really?
Um yeah.
I'm thinking 20s, Yeah, I've been working with Raquel on this one. Well, he's
Oh, there's Trina.
that when you pull it and then he doesn't, I don't think he knows what's on there. I think he's completely clueless. And then someone pulls it and goes, well, it's not up to par. And someone's saying that, he's afraid to hear it. Yeah,
Yeah.
but for him, okay, I mean, in your late 30s, like, I mean, what's the we need to be ready here, guys. Um, I feel like he needs to have that credit pulled. Again, it's totally a soft pull. It does
Hmm.
not affect, when I tell you, it does not, you could do a soft pull on somebody every day and it doesn't affect anything.
Hmm.
Do pull, so normally for mortgage, you pull all three bureaus. The soft pull will pull two, but I can still run a simulator. I mean, being in your late 30s, going on 40, you should know what's on your credit report. Like, you know, I
Yeah, I think it's like maybe she's like
and
she
mom,
was saying that like I don't know if he doesn't make enough, and then she was asking about, other ways that we can work with someone to find out, first time home buyer assistance. And
yeah,
she even said like she's willing to give money. Like she just like, to buy down the mortgage payments per month and things like that. Like she's really wanting to move forward with this. It's just getting her son on board.
is she wanting to co-sign with him or she wants him to do this on his own?
Mm,
You said,
I
does he not make enough money? You said something about money. Did I hear that right?
Yeah, like I think she said that like he's afraid that he's like he doesn't make enough. But she said he works at Channel 13 News, and I think she said he's been there for like over like 15 years or something like
Oh,
that.
I mean,
Um,
is he renting or is he living at home?
he's renting. He's renting right now in Spring Valley. And
Okay.
and their rent is, I think she said 1,300. They're in like a small townhome.
Yeah, so it's kind of low. I mean, I would just, so how I would sell this to him is, and this is where you're gonna go back into where pricing right now, we are in the buyer's market, right? We are seeing a lot of incentives. So depending on his credit score, will depend on what type of down payment assistance programs he can qualify for. Because they do
Mm-hmm.
have to meet a specific credit score guideline, okay? Um, if mom wants to help, if seller wants to help, remember, we're still seeing a lot of these seller concessions.
Right.
I will tell you, springtime and summertime, which is coming up next month pretty much for spring, more people flood the market because people want to be in, school zones for kids and, they want to be in before school starts or things like that, right? It is the busy season. We're coming into the busy season.
Mm-hmm.
We have a new Fed chair. The new Fed chair is, we're going to probably start to see rates go down the second half of the year. Okay. Everybody's saying it. Everybody's saying it. But once those rates come down, he's going to lose his chance because
Mm-hmm.
we're going to start seeing more people flooding the market. You're going to start seeing multiple offers. Your
Right.
seller concessions are going to go away and you're going to pay more. That $350,000 house is probably going to go to 370, right? Just using some examples. But so I would sell it on that because that's the truth. And then I would also sell it on it's a free loan application.
Mm-hmm.
It's a soft credit pull. It does not affect your credit. And if he even just wants to have a conversation with me, you know,
Yeah.
if mom wants to have a conversation with me, I don't mind. If they want to come and sit down in the office, if they're more comfortable with that, I don't mind that either. So
Mm-hmm.
I think, maybe if they're more of that in-person type of person, to maybe they'll feel more comfortable. I'm totally good with that too.
Yeah. I haven't met him or spoke to him yet, so I don't know what his vibe is.
Yeah.
I'm just going off like what his mom is saying. But like she's open. She was like, "Oh, will you come to the office?" I'm like, "Yeah, you could come in." Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, so I'm gonna follow up with her today and see if she talked to him yesterday.
Okay.
And then yeah, I'll keep you posted and see like maybe if we just need to get on a phone call with him really quickly, just explain the process before even like, starting it. Um,
Yeah,
yeah.
because some people still do like that face to face, like
Yeah.
you said, you went to mom's house. Some people still like that, and that might make him feel a little more comfortable, you know,
Mm-hmm.
even though he's a millennial and he probably would think was, but I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. But anyways, but I mean, but people are still like that. And listen, I'm open to whatever makes somebody feel comfortable because this is a big process and it is the biggest purchase of their life.
Mm-hmm.
So we want them to be comfortable and not scared, or, even putting me on a group text. Is he a tester? You know what I mean? Like whatever,
Mm-hmm.
maybe ask mom what will maybe take him off the fence a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that they, especially the mom, obviously feels comfortable with you.
Yeah.
But like I've had, and Jennifer knows this, like I've set her up on appointments like at 5 o'clock, and then we get on the phone, and then it feels much more like person to person.
Yeah.
And you make them feel so comfortable, and then you're there as a calm presence. Like, oh, and then they feel like they have a little posse helping them.
Yeah, exactly. When they feel like they have that team, it kind of takes that edge off.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? They know, you know what? I'm being supported here, because you have to remember, we don't always have the best reputation in the industry, in as a job. You know,
Mm-hmm.
actually, Rob Morganti's class yesterday, real estate agents, it's the top 5. We're like, you guys are like right under car salesmen. And I'm not, and it's very true, because you have to remember, people still have that old school mentality
Yeah.
of the crash, and lenders are, they're out just to make money and ship us on rates and make money on the back end, and realtors are sleazy car salesmen. Like, people have that feeling still. Like, it literally, they brought it up yesterday. It was like the top 5, and real estate agents and lenders are in there. And so, it is that knowing we're a team, we're here to help you, we're here to make you feel comfortable, and not be scared of the process. You know, like, hey, listen, I pull credit all day long. I pulled it in the 400s before.
Okay.
Sometimes there's ways we can get the score up, sometimes there's not. I mean,
Yeah.
being in his late 30s, he should kind of know what's on there. Like, does he have a car loan? Does he have a credit card that he's been making payments on? Like, your bank account gives you a credit score. You know what I mean?
Some people just have blanks where like,
My bank has it up there. My bank has my credit score up there all the time. So
Yeah.
should know. I mean, he really should know. But anyways, if he doesn't, it's fine. We'll figure it out. But I think those are some ways to really talk to him or her and get
Yeah.
her off the fence.
Yeah. No, I was just like, because I'm just like, listen, once you speak to Jen, like you will be, I'm just like, I just want to get them to you because I know that you were gonna take care of them and
Make them
help
feel,
them out.
make them feel comfortable, because
Yeah.
I have been a first-time home buyer before. I have bought since, and I know that this is the biggest purchase of your life. You're not just going to buy a pair of jeans or even a car.
Yeah.
And so it is scary, and he's never done it, and it's just, and you don't want to sound salesy. I never try to
Right.
sound salesy. And I try to set, because I will have people, I get this asked every day, and it's in my slides, so we might as well just get into it. If, well, the interest rates, what if the interest rates drop? And they were talking about, because I sat in Morganti's class yesterday. The biggest thing people are seeing too is, our price is going to drop. Should I wait for the crash? Right? How many times do you hear that? Oh, interest rates are going to drop. Should I wait until interest rates drop? Me personally, I have a daughter that's 21 years old. Not that she's ready to buy a house, and she's not buying a house in any way. But if I was talking to my daughter, and this is exactly what I would tell her, and this is what I tell my clients, I go, if you were my daughter or my son, this is what I would be telling them. Yes, it is a good time to buy. Interest rates might still be in the 6s, but they've dropped a lot. Inventory is up. Buyers have the advantage. You're getting your closing costs paid for, or you could do a rate buy down, whatever you're most comfortable with. You're getting the house for cheap, obviously depending on the home, depending on the seller and the motivation. I'm just using, I'm just saying that, and those are things that I tell my buyers when they give me those, those what's it called? When they tell me, like, hey, I'm waiting for rates to drop, or do you think it's a good time? I don't sound salesy. I sound like, you know what? If you were my daughter, this is exactly what I would be telling her. And they're like, thank you for that. That means a lot. Because I say, as soon as those rates go up, that inventory is going to go down. I go, because people are going to have multiple offers, and you are going to lose your incentives. Like, oh my God, that makes sense. Thank you so much. So it's about making them feel that warm and fuzzy,
Right.
and you're not sounding that salesy. So, and he seems somebody where we really need to make sure that we do that, hold his hand through the process. And I'm totally good with that. I'm totally good with that. So, it's just I never like to sound salesy ever.
Well, I have a quick Jen story. Like my first signing, I don't know if you remember, but like that last year, there was a woman, her name was Gabrielle, and her credit was like 525.
Yeah.
But she could not
Yeah.
get the loan. And so she was super nervous. And so I got her in touch with Jen, and she enrolled in programs that you talked about. And we talked like every month. She's this close to buying a house. And she's like, I'm gonna get a pool. And she's like, Jen made me feel so comfortable. And I was like, and I said to her,
Yeah.
and she's like, you guys made me feel so good. And
Yeah.
I reached out and she's like, I'm gonna get up there. And so as soon as she hits 600, she's gonna be like,
Yeah.
you better be on it. I'm in Vegas and I'm gonna buy. So
Yeah.
it's- you can keep it if it's not right now.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's where, again, her credit wasn't necessarily up to where we need it for an FHA, but based off of a credit simulator, did we run a credit simulator?
Yeah.
I told her what to do.
Mhm.
So, we can run that credit simulator for them and tell them, hey, if you do this, this, and this to the exact dollar amount, we can get you up to where you need to be. Now, there are times that the credit simulator does not give me as much as what I need.
Mm-hmm.
So with that, then I have a really good credit repair guy. I have a really good credit repair guy that can go in where they can actually go in and like remove things, stuff like that I can't do.
Right.
So if it comes to that and they want to go into a credit repair, we always have that option as well. And I let them know, listen, credit simulator does not get me to where we need to be for FHA. Let's meet with the credit guy. They charge a monthly fee, but he's not very expensive at all. And yet they have a bad reputation too, because there's a lot that are shady. He's really good. Rosanna, who works on the other side, sends her clients there. And so I started sending mine and she's like, he's amazing. And he'll get them done in the next like few months. So they're ready to buy. Yeah. So just depending on what's on there, But those are those things that we can talk about with him and
Mm-hmm.
just kind of get him off the fence to make him feel that little warm and fuzzy,
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Okay.
also like to let them know. I mean, it's disappointing as a real estate agent that you're not making that commission and doing
Yeah.
so at that time. But like with this woman, I'm like, okay, we're gonna get there. But if you tell them like I'm still here, like I'm
Yeah.
not going anywhere, you still got me, you still got Jen.
Yeah.
I want to have those discussions. It makes you feel like I'm not being rejected.
Right.
Yeah.
I have a team. They're gonna make it work, and I can talk to them every month or every
Right.
2 weeks if they want. Yeah.
Right.
That's the thing, is to make him feel comfortable, like to reach out and update. I always say, keep me posted. Let me know once you did this and this, and once we're ready, like things like that. But and then you just kind of keeping in touch with them and just in making him feel comfortable. It's a team effort. We're all here for the same goal. We love helping buyers, getting them into homes, into their dream homes. It like makes us feel good, right?
Yeah.
That's what we're here for.
Yeah, and like
Okay.
I say like happy birthday and stuff like that to her.
Yeah.
But like she's like, I can't afford a lot, but she sent me a Christmas card. She's like, thank you for being on my team.
Oh,
Aw.
If I be
That's
summer,
so
she wants
sweet.
that pool, so she
Yeah.
can investment. But she's like, you've never lost touch. And,
Yeah.
so it's sweet when you can get them there and
Yeah.
then watch them in that new home, and then we did that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I will keep you guys posted.
You can do it, Raquel.
You got it. Yeah. Well, and again, if they want to meet in person too,
Yeah.
seriously, let me know. Okay.
Okay, I will.
Uh, so we kind of talked about rates. Uh, listen, this week's been super ugly. I'm not gonna lie. I send my updates every day. You guys see what's going on.
Yeah.
The news. If we're they're just it's just a lot of volatility right now, unfortunately. I do believe with the new Fed chair that's coming in May, that we should start to see some good stuff the second half of the year. He's very into cutting rates. Now, remember, that doesn't always mean mortgage interest rates, right? That means short-term debt, where your credit cards, your car loans, things like that. But the mortgage side does still work that in, usually ahead of time, and we start to see rates come down a little bit as well. So, you know, the other thing too is, you know, where people are, oh, the rates are so high, this and that. Well, you know what, Mr. Baher, are you comfortable with this payment of $3,000 a month? Yes, I'm comfortable with that. Okay, let's keep you in the $400,000 price range. And we know, so as rates go down, you can refinance out of that at any time. You can refinance as many times as you want, okay? So any questions on rates, what you guys think are gonna happen, current market, anything like that? I do think buyers are starting to adapt to what's going on with the market as well, because I know buyers are buying. I mean, I've been busy, so,
Oh, yeah.
you
And
know.
what did you say last meeting, which cracked me up? You married the house, you paid
Pay
the
the
rate.
rate, exactly. Marry the house, because when you marry the house, that you bought that house for that price. That doesn't change. It's only gonna go up. The interest rate, that can change anytime. You can refinance your house every time those rates start, you know, coming down, as long as it's worth it. But so it is, it's true. It's actually been a slogan we've been saying for the last few years. Which I kind of feel bad about, because the rates never really went down, but they really are now. And again, we do have the new Fed chairs, so that's a big deal too. So,
Yeah.
you know. But
And you also like, don't you have like buy now versus buy later? Like,
I
thought-
do.
So that's the big one.
I
too.
do. So we have a program that we can run where it's like the cost of waiting is what it's
Yeah,
called.
that's right.
So the cost of waiting is to where, you know, hey, if I bought today, what does that mean? Opposed to buying, you know, 6 months to a year from now, what does that cost me with the equity and things like that?
Yeah.
So if you have any clients that want to, you know, want us to run that, I can do that at any time too.
Okay.
Some loan programs, we've, you know, kind of talked about down payment assistance depending on their credit. There are some temporary buy down programs. It's a 2-1. I'm not seeing it as much right now. It is still out there. It's where for the first 2 years of the loan, the interest rate is low. So if the interest rates today are 6%, their first year it's 4%. Their payment is based off of the second year, it's based off 5%, and then it goes to 6%, but they can refinance that in any time. And it can never go higher than that rate that they're locked in of the 6%. The only thing is that the seller has to pay for that. Okay. That is a seller paid program. The buyer cannot pay for that. So again, depending on the property, depending on the seller's motivation, stuff like that, you know, we could look into doing something like that. We've got a lot of the non-QM programs, which is like your not your normal conventional FHA, VA type of loans. We do a lot of investor loans. We do a lot of bank statement loans. The really common one right now is called the DSCR loan. That one is for investors. The nice thing, so there's a good and a bad because of interest rates today. The rent on that property has to match the mortgage. So when you get into like people that want to like buy in condos as investments, sometimes that could be a little tough because their HOAs are really high. They could be $300 and they add that to the payment. So that payment could be $2,000 because of the HOA, but the rent is only $1,500. So you have that gap. If they're a first-time investor, we got to keep it at that 1-to-1 ratio, meaning that it has to match, the rent and the mortgage have to match. If they're an experienced investor, we can go to 80% instead of 1-to-1.
Oh,
Okay.
I didn't know that.
Yes,
Okay.
we can.
I have a question, Jen. Um, so I also have someone else. He's interested in land and starting a truck parking business. Are there any programs for situations like that? Or like, because I guess like he would be considered an investor in a way, maybe, but
So land, okay, land is hard. Uh,
okay.
I have a broker that I can broker out for land. Uh, minimum, minimum 30% down, I think it is. And the minimum loan amount is 100,000.
Okay.
Because a lot of times people might buy land for like 50,000. So how much is he looking to buy for land?
So he's looking for about like definitely more than 1 acre of land. And I sent him basically like everything. He just wanted to see what the market looks like right now. So I sent him all the options of like 1 to like 10 acres of land that's in Las Vegas, Pahrump, Mopa Valley. And the prices range between like 300,000 to like 3.5 million.
Holy cow, okay. Does he have a big down payment?
I'm not, so I sent him everything last week and he's like, I just need to digest everything and he's gonna do like some calculations and stuff like that and get back to me. So we haven't discussed like finances yet. He just wants to see like what is
Okay,
available to him right now.
okay,
But yeah, I was just asking like if there
yeah,
were, yeah, if there is anything, but he's definitely like investor, has like an investor mindset for sure.
okay. So then in that case, yes, there is. Because sometimes people are looking at like $50,000 for land. I don't have an option for that, but sounds like for this guy, we may, as long as he's got the money to put down. Sounds like being an investor, he probably does. So yes, we can broker that out for sure.
And when you say broker that out, what does that mean?
So we're a direct lender. So APN, well, Clear Modern, we're a direct lender. So what that means is that we lend our own money. Okay. So
Hmm.
everything is done in-house from start to finish is done in-house. After we close your loan, depending on the product, depending on what it is, your loan could get sold. Okay. When you have a broker side, that means that you're brokering out to companies that will offer sort of those non-QM type of loans. Okay. And everything gets done through them. So the underwriting is done through them. Everything's done through them. I'm still your point of contact. I still work the loan. It's just not underwritten or anything with our people. Does that make sense?
Yes, and that's because it's land.
Correct. So our in-house products are obviously VA, conventional, FHA. We
Yeah.
have in-house DSCR. We have in-house bank statement. So we have in-house a few of those non-QM products. But when you get into like land, uh, some of the foreign nationals, some of those types of deals, um, your products that are sort of outside the box
Hmm.
will have to go through a broker because they offer those products.
Okay.
All that means to you is that it's underwritten through a broker and that's it. Like it doesn't mean that much difference to you. The only difference is like I can't get on the phone with the underwriter and talk to them. We're here at Clear Modern, I can literally hop on the phone with the underwriter and be like, dude, what's going on with this? You know,
Yeah.
or why do you see this and I don't, or I see this and you don't, or whatever, right? So, which is one big reason why I actually like working for a direct lender because I have control and I'm a control freak. Um,
Hmm.
But a broker is just, it's just not underwritten in-house and processed. So that's the only difference.
But it's beautiful that we have those options.
Oh,
because
yes.
it's so much more
Exactly.
better. Yeah.
I don't have to worry about losing a deal to another person that can do a loan that I can't do. So
Mhm.
being able to have both options is huge. A lot of realtors like that we're an in-house a direct lender, because they know the control that we have. I know our underwriters, like I can reach out.
Mhm.
When it's brokered out, obviously it's a different type of product, they get it. No one's gonna have an in-house land program,
Yeah.
That has to be brokered. So that's sort of what your difference is. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you.
You're welcome.
But actually, I love telling clients that we could do both.
Yeah,
Like, we are a one-stop shop,
yep,
and you still have a contact person. Because when you get your license too for real estate, I don't know if this has happened to you, Raquel. Tons of people come at you like, I'm a loan officer.
oh, yeah,
I'm a broker. I'm
Yeah.
better than your loan officer.
Yeah. yeah.
Yeah.
Back and go, actually, I have the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
So people will approach you
Yeah,
and kind of confuse you that they're better because
right,
they're a
because
broker.
they're a broker.
And that's not true. Yeah.
So I've never worked for a broker. I've always been direct because I do like the control. When you work just for a broker, you're brokering it out to a few different lenders. And I don't like that because I don't know who I'm dealing with. I don't know who the underwriters are. I'm very much, I need to be in control of everything from my
Mhm.
clients. I mean, I have the best assistant ever. She's fabulous. And I don't worry about things because I'm always in the loop throughout everything. But I still need to have, if there's a problem, I need to pick up the phone and call somebody.
Mhm.
Like personally, like I need to talk to the underwriter. We'll get on Zoom calls, if they feel that something's not right. So that's what I like. I don't like the broker of working strictly for a broker, but being able to have the broker side and being able to broker for products, 100%. So that's kind of what your difference is.
Okay.
You
That
you
makes sense.
get lost in the shuffle when you work directly for a broker. Your files, your turn times are long because you're dealing with outside people. Like it's just, yeah, I don't, you know. But being able to have both options is great. So yes. What else should we go over? Buyer consultation. Enrique, do you have any questions? He's absorbed.
No, not right now, but
All
it
in right
is. I'm doing good, thank you. But it is very useful and helpful hearing these scenarios that Raquel's going through because these are
Yeah.
scenarios I could potentially go through in the future. So I'm just absorbing all the information and everything.
Good, good. Perfect. So that's great. And if you have any questions or want to chime in, just let us know. I know you're new and you're learning a lot, so it's just kind of being a sponge right now. Let's see. Let's see. Here, buyer objections. We kind of talked about this. That's what I was trying to get was objections.
Oh,
I couldn't think of a freaking word. Yeah. Wow. We talked about this. Rates are too high. Should we wait? What if prices drop? So we really went over that. And it's funny, every time I tell my buyers, every time whenever I get this objection and I explain what I said earlier, they're like, that totally makes sense. So, if you have that objection and you want to go over it with me, just please, you guys know, you got Erin, you got Trina, you got me. I mean, you guys have a good, huge support system. And we get these all day, we have to
Mhm.
remember, like, we're talking to clients all day. I talk to people all day long. My phone pretty much dies almost every day. But I get asked this
all the time because of the news and what you're hearing out there and the interest rates and you know, is there gonna be a crash? Are we gonna have foreclosures? I mean, you have to remember, Aaron back in the day was a huge foreclosure short sale agent, you know,
Mhm.
it, what, going on almost 20 years ago, but, you know, oh 08, so going on almost 20 years ago, but, you know, and like he always says, absolutely not. We're never gonna, we're not going to have that ever happen again because a lot of that was bad lending. So you have to remember, I was not doing this back then, so I had nothing to do with it. But everybody back then was a lender on the side. You could have been a cop, but you were doing loans on the side. Okay. Oh my God. Yes. So, and people were making a shit ton of money. I'm so sorry to be unprofessional. You want to see what it is? I think you should be out for me. So you, what was happening was people, lenders, loan officers, back then, we didn't have to take a test like we do now. So ever since the crash, now they made it, our test is very hard, very, very hard, but they didn't have to do that before. So everybody was a lender. So they were selling these adjustable rate mortgages and they were able to talk to the appraiser and say, okay, you know, this house, I'm going to pay you to make sure this house appraises at 500,000, even though we know it's not worth it and this and that. And we're going to put them in this adjustable rate mortgage. Well, what happened was we had this crash, right? Where you got to watch The Big Short. Have you guys watched The Big Short yet? Oh my God.
Mm-mm.
You haven't watched The Big Short? Oh my gosh. It's old, but oh, you guys know it was about. Put it on your list. You have to watch. I watched it before I got into mortgages. But I was always in banking my whole life. I've been in banking. So I did a lot of consumer debt lending. But the credit union I worked for, you know, we started to see foreclosures, like things were happening, right? Then I watched it being in the industry. Just watch it. It's very eye-opening on what happened and how this one guy saw this trend and knew this was going to happen. So you got to really watch it. It really put it on your list and take a moment, you know, the 2 hours or however long it is to watch it. Seriously.
I didn't even know it was about that.
It's 100% about it.
Oh,
It's all about the crash. It's all about it.
oh, we're gonna
So
talk about that.
yeah, so where people still have that and they're scared. Everybody had to do foreclosure. I mean, it was insane. Okay. So people today are not, we're not ever going to be in that again because yeah, we may see a few, of course. I think there's like 45 on the market right now or something like that in Clark County. But people have equity today. So our lending is very, very structured. I mean, everything is looked at. So I get yelled at all the time from people who haven't bought since then. And I'm like, why are you asking for all this information? Well, this is the reason why we ask for this information. If you were lending somebody $500,000, you would want to make sure they can pay back that loan, right? And I'm sorry, we asked for this, but we are very regulated today. So lenders today, we now have to take a test. We have to take, you know, all the CE classes and all the classes like you guys, you know, we have to do all that now since the crash happened. So people still have that where they think that there's going to be a crash or, you know, there's going to be all these foreclosures. We're not going to have that today because people do have equity. The problem was when the crash happened was people couldn't afford a mortgage anymore and then the prices completely dropped. So they couldn't sell. So my $500,000 house was now worth $300,000. And my payment just adjusted and now just increased by $5,000. I'm using examples, obviously, but so that's what happened. So people just had to let their houses go because they couldn't sell. There's no equity. So the houses were just, I mean, people were just, it was, ask Aaron one day, talk about it.
Mm.
Cause he was the biggest in the valley. The biggest foreclosure and short sale listing agent in the valley.
Wow.
Yeah, I learned something new every single time you do a presentation.
Yeah, it could be the same screen, but it's always something new every time.
Don't do that. Yeah, always, don't do that. So that's where some of those people have that mentality still. Or, it's, not mentality, I don't know if it's the right word, but they think that's gonna happen again. So they're scared to dip their toes in. I don't think that a lot of people even know what that crash was about. They
They
don't.
don't.
Oh, the housing market crashed.
Yeah.
And they try to think like, oh, everything's gonna drop, and then I buy a house
Exactly.
cheap, when that's not the scenario. Oh, no, yeah, it was all bad lending, and it was like today, I am not allowed to talk to appraisers. I don't even know who is so Nikki goes in, my loan partner goes in and orders an appraisal, and it's a panel. So we have no clue who's going out to appraise that house. Because appraisers were getting paid on the side. Hey, appraise the house at 500,000, here's $1,000 for you to do that. So appraisers were it was bad. It was insane. It was insane. So yeah, so we're not even allowed to talk to appraisers, like we cannot, nothing. We are so strictly regulated. And I did have one of those clients, just recently with Cowboy, they were filling out the paperwork. I asked them, are you gonna reside in the home? Yeah, and they're like, I'm buying the house. I'm buying the house for cash. What do you care? What I would do with the home? And I'm like, you know what? We need to complete the paperwork fully.
Yeah.
There's a lot of reasons behind it, and it's just a checkbox.
Yeah.
Okay? But they're like, they didn't want to answer it. And they're like, well, back in the day, we never had to do that.
Right.
Well, I'm sorry, right now, if you want to move forward,
Yeah.
we have to, and by the way, if you don't fill it out correctly, it's just coming back to you.
Yeah.
It's not like it's gonna slide under the table without
Yeah.
those boxes being filled out.
Yeah, it's very regulated today, even, your guys' side of things too.
Oh, yeah.
Are very regulated as well because of what happened, and that killed the economy. I mean, it was horrible. People just, it was sad. Watch The Big Short. It's sad what happened. So go watch it, you guys. I recommend it, being in the industry, because people do still bring up, bring that up, or they think that's going to happen again because we're in a recession, or interest rates are high, and things like that. So people still, so now you kind of know, well, no, it's different today. It's, back then it was a lot of bad lending, and you're able to explain it, and then they're like, oh, okay. Because trust me, we get yelled at all the time. What do you need that for? Listen, guys, I am like the FBI. Okay, for the 30 days of your life that you are in contract. And I tell people that I will find out. We will find out. I had a realtor of mine years ago, literally a realtor. She was buying a house. I'm doing her loan. Filled out, have you ever had a foreclosure? No, blah, blah, blah. Call her credit. She's in the 700s. No foreclosure on her credit report, nothing. So we go into contract, and we pull in the back office after you go into contract, it's called data verify. Data verify goes over everything in your life. Any properties you owned, you married, everything. Okay. She had a foreclosure before that was not seasoned enough. This foreclosure 7 years. Yeah. Not seasoned enough, and never told me. She paid somebody, it didn't affect her credit. And I had to put her in a non-QM product, and her interest rates skyrocketed. It was a whole mess. But what my point is, we will find out. I have another buyer. One of my very best friends is a realtor, and we have this buyer, and he tried to hide that he had this self-employed. He tried to hide this stuff. Every time we turned around, something new was coming up. Don't hide from me. We're going to find out. It's very different today. We're very, very regulated.
Now, even when we bought this house in Vegas, 20 years ago, my husband's ex-wife put a child support lien on him, even though he paid.
Oh,
So we had to prove it, like that we paid, and it was only for like 1 month. We bought this house, and this was 20 years ago this happened. They came back and said you had to leave a child support lien, and we're like,
oh,
and so we actually contacted the county, and they sent a letter right over.
Yeah.
The whole thing was a big mistake because he was paying.
yeah,
But when they came back and we just bought the house, we're like,
yeah.
I mean, the kids are in their 30s.
But you're right, the shit that comes up, you never know, and it will do a background check. So I do have clients, like I spoke to one yesterday. She goes, listen, I'm gonna be transparent up front. I go, thank you. Because I would rather you be transparent up front with me, because if you tell me something and I don't have to worry about it, I can just pretend I never heard it. But I would rather you tell me up front than now we're in contract and something comes up and now we can't close, and guess who's the bad guy? Me. It's always the lender's fault. So please let your clients know. Please be transparent. If you don't want me to know, you as the realtor, cool, you don't need to know. But tell your lender, please. Let the lender know, because they are going to find out whatever it is.
Right, and you still put everybody in confidentiality.
I've had people that had, like you just said about the child support, I have had, this happened to me twice in 1 month on 2 deals. Nothing on the credit report, right? No judgments, no liens, no nothing. We pulled, both of these 2 clients had judgments from years ago that were satisfied that they paid them. But the judgment, they never released, the judgment. This person had to go to the courthouse to have this judgment released to show proof that it was in fact paid, but that the court or whoever it is never released it. They did, we were able to close. But the point is, things are going to come up. Be honest. I'm trying to tell people we are the FBI for the 30 days of your life.
Right.
So, yes. Anyways, I think we got on a tangent. I'm not sure about that, but anyway. This is all good information. I think it was because we were talking about the crash and how regulated we are now. So
But now they know when it comes up,
right,
it's different, and there's a reason. You should be glad
right,
that we are this protective of you and
Right.
we're going through it, because we don't want that again.
exactly. Yeah. So exactly. And then when you explain it to them, people that have been like, well, I've never had to get this before. I understand, since the crash is very regulated, we do ask for this now. It's to protect you, to protect, the housing market. The housing market, it runs the economy. The housing market's huge. It's the most important thing. So, okay. So I know we are just about done. Do you guys have any questions for me? Anything you kind of want to finish? This is the last slide anyway. Anything that, you want to meet with me, anything like that?
I'm good for now. I think I asked my questions earlier.
Yeah, you did. Thank you. And Raquel, if, just let me know if he wants to hop on a call or if he wants to meet in person. I'm down to do whatever.
Okay, yes, I will give them all of the above options.
Okay, cool.
We're gonna have fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Learn something new every time.
yeah. And Enrique, it's nice to meet you. I'm looking forward to meeting you in the office.
Thank you. It's nice to
Okay.
meet you too. I look forward to meeting you as well.
Yeah, anything that I can help you with, you just please feel free to reach out to me if you want to set up a coffee or, head over into my office. I work in here Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Just feel free to stop by and we can chat.
All right, thank you. I appreciate that.
So thanks, guys.
Thank you.
See you
Thank
next time.
you.
Yeah, we'll probably learn something new next time, right?